You know what's fascinating? The wealthy operate in a completely different financial reality than most people. It's not about having more money to start with. It's about understanding 5 critical mistakes that keep ordinary people trapped in a cycle of working harder while somehow falling further behind. And here's the thing that might sting a little. These aren't secrets locked away in some exclusive vault. They're choices. Choices that anyone can make once they understand what's really happening with their money. Let's start with the first mistake, and this one is probably hitting your bank account right now as you listen to this. The wealthy never, and I mean never, keep cash sitting idle. Think about your savings account for a moment. You might feel responsible, maybe even a little proud of that balance sitting there. You're being smart, right? You're saving for a rainy day. But here's what's actually happening. That money is earning what? Maybe 0.5% interest. Meanwhile, inflation is running at 3, 4, sometimes 7% or more. Your money isn't resting safely. It's actually shrinking in value every single day. The rich understand something fundamental about money. Cash is not meant to be stored. It's meant to be deployed. While your savings account pays you essentially nothing, wealthy individuals are putting their money into assets that actually generate income. We're talking about dividend-paying stocks, rental properties, businesses, bonds, index funds that compound over time. Their money is working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even while they sleep. Your money? It's just sitting there, slowly losing purchasing power, making the bank wealthy instead of you. Think about what banks actually do with your deposits. They're not just holding your money in a vault. They're lending it out to other people at much higher interest rates. You're getting 0.5% while they're charging borrowers 5, 6, 10% or more on mortgages, car loans, and credit cards. You're essentially providing them with cheap capital that they use to generate massive profits. The wealthy understand this game and refuse to play the losing side of it. They position themselves as the lenders, the investors, the owners, not the depositors getting crumbs. But it gets more interesting when we look at the second mistake. The rich never buy liabilities disguised as assets. Now this one is tricky because we've been conditioned by marketing and social pressure to believe certain purchases are investments when they're actually financial anchors dragging us down. The perfect example? That shiny luxury car sitting in your driveway or the one you've been dreaming about. Here's the brutal truth about cars. The moment you drive a new vehicle off the dealership lot, it loses 10 to 20% of its value. Just like that. In the first year alone, it can lose up to 30%. You're making payments, sure, but you're paying for something that's guaranteed to be worth less tomorrow than it is today. Insurance costs money. Maintenance costs money. Gas costs money. It's not an asset generating income. It's a liability consuming your wealth month after month after month. And let's be honest about why people buy these expensive cars. It's not really about transportation. A 10-year-old Honda gets you to work just as effectively as a brand new luxury sedan. It's about status. It's about what you think other people will think about you. But here's a secret the wealthy know. Truly rich people don't care about impressing strangers at stoplights. They care about cash flow. They care about net worth. They care about building real wealth that provides freedom, not the appearance of success that comes with a monthly payment plan. Now contrast that with how wealthy people think. They look at that same chunk of money and ask a different question. Instead of, what can I buy that will impress people? They ask, what can I buy that will pay me every month? And the answer often looks like income-producing real estate. A rental property might not turn heads at a stoplight, but it generates monthly cash flow. It appreciates over time. It provides tax benefits. And 20 years from now, that property is likely worth multiples of what you paid, while that luxury car is worth a fraction of its purchase price, if anything at all. The third mistake reveals something even more fascinating about how the wealthy operate. They never pay full price for anything, but not in the way you might think. This isn't about clipping coupons or waiting for sales, though there's nothing wrong with that. This is about understanding that the financial system itself is designed with loopholes, strategies, and mechanisms that reward those who take the time to learn them. Tax strategies are a perfect example. You pay taxes on your income. Every dollar you earn, the government takes its cut right off the top. But wealthy individuals structure their finances differently. They understand depreciation schedules that allow them to show paper losses while actually making money. They know how to use debt as leverage, borrowing against appreciating assets at low interest rates to invest in opportunities with higher returns. They hire accountants and financial advisors not as an expense but as an investment that saves them multiples of what they cost. The system legally rewards business owners differently than employees. It rewards investors differently than savers. It rewards those who own real estate differently than those who rent. This isn't about cheating or doing anything illegal. It's about understanding the rules of the game well enough to play it effectively. Most people don't even know these strategies exist, so they pay full price for everything, including their taxes, while the wealthy are playing by a completely different set of rules that are available to anyone willing to learn them. Consider how a business owner can deduct expenses that an employee never could. A home office, a vehicle used for business purposes, travel expenses, equipment, education, meals with clients. These are all legitimate business expenses that reduce taxable income. An employee earning $70,000 pays taxes on $70,000. A business owner earning $70,000 might only pay taxes on $40,000 or $50,000 after legal deductions. Same income, vastly different tax bills. The rules are there for everyone, but only those who understand them benefit. The fourth mistake might be the most important one because it reveals the fundamental difference in how the wealthy think about time and money. They never work only for active income. Think about your job for a moment. You trade hours for dollars. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. There's a direct correlation between your time and your income. Sounds fair, right? It's how most of the world operates. But here's the problem with that model. Your time is finite. There are only 24 hours in a day. You can only work so many of them before your health, your relationships, and your sanity start to crumble. Active income has a ceiling. You can only earn so much because you can only work so many hours. The wealthy figured out a long time ago that this is a losing game. Instead, they focus obsessively on building passive income streams. Passive income means your money works while you sleep. It means earning from investments, rental properties, businesses that operate without your daily involvement, royalties, dividends, interest from loans you've made. It scales infinitely because it's not tied to your time. One rental property generates income. 10 rental properties generate 10 times that income. 100 shares of dividend-paying stock generate dividends. 1,000 shares generate more. There's no limit except the capital you can deploy and the opportunities you can identify. This is why you see wealthy people who seem to work less but earn more. They spent years building systems and acquiring assets that generate money independently of their direct labor. Meanwhile, most people are stuck in the active income trap, working harder and harder just to maintain the same lifestyle, never building anything that could eventually set them free. They get a raise and immediately increase their spending to match it. They get a bonus and buy something they've been wanting instead of investing it. The cycle never ends because they never break free from the need to trade time for money. And that brings us to the fifth and perhaps most insidious mistake. The wealthy never ignore inflation. Most people think they're saving money when they're actually watching their wealth evaporate in slow motion. Let's say you diligently saved $10,000 5 years ago. You felt responsible. You felt secure. But if inflation averaged 5% over those 5 years, that $10,000 now has the purchasing power of about $7,700. You didn't spend a penny, but you lost over $2,000 in real value. The wealthy understand that inflation is a silent thief, and the only defense is to own assets that rise with or faster than inflation. Hard assets. Real estate historically appreciates and rents increase with inflation. Stocks represent ownership in companies that raise prices with inflation. Commodities like gold and silver have preserved wealth through millennia of currency debasement. Even collectibles, art, and other tangible assets tend to hold or increase value over time. Cash, on the other hand, is guaranteed to lose value. Every year, without fail, the purchasing power of a dollar declines. The wealthy don't fear this because they're not holding cash. They're holding assets. When inflation rises, their real estate becomes more valuable. Their stocks adjust upward. Their tangible assets appreciate. They're protected because they understand the game. They've positioned themselves on the right side of inflation, where it works for them instead of against them. So here we are. 5 mistakes. 5 fundamental differences in how the wealthy think about and handle money compared to everyone else. They don't let cash sit idle. They don't buy liabilities pretending to be assets. They don't pay full price when the system offers legal ways to reduce costs. They don't rely solely on trading time for money. And they don't ignore the constant erosion of purchasing power caused by inflation. Now here's the part that should either motivate you or make you uncomfortable. These are not secrets. Nobody is hiding this information from you. It's not about having a trust fund or being born into wealth. It's about financial literacy and discipline. The information is available. The strategies are legal. The opportunities exist for anyone willing to educate themselves and make different choices. The difference between building wealth and staying broke often comes down to understanding these principles and having the discipline to act on them even when everyone around you is making different choices. It means resisting the urge to buy that depreciating car to impress neighbors who don't care. It means educating yourself about tax strategies instead of just complaining about taxes. It means sacrificing some comfort today to build passive income for tomorrow. It means buying assets even when holding cash feels safer. The wealthy aren't necessarily smarter than you. They're not working harder than you. But they are playing a different game with different rules, and they're winning because they took the time to understand how money actually works rather than how they were told it works. They read books about finance. They study successful investors. They surround themselves with people who think about money differently. They ask questions. They make mistakes and learn from them. They treat their financial education as seriously as their formal education, maybe more so. The question isn't whether you can make these same choices. The question is whether you will. Because everything we've talked about today is available to you right now. The only thing standing between you and financial freedom is knowledge and the decision to act on it. You can start today. You can open an investment account today. You can read a book about real estate investing today. You can start a side business today. You can learn about tax strategies today. Every single day you wait is another day your money sits idle, losing value, working for someone else instead of you. Your money is either working for you or it's working for someone else. Your assets are either generating income or they're consuming it. Your time is either building passive wealth or it's being traded for active income with a ceiling you'll eventually hit. The clock is ticking. Inflation is eating away at your purchasing power right now, this very moment. The only question left is what are you going to do about it?